What's up, the squad? Back with another video. Y'all seen the title was going out. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. As y'all see, if y'all didn't watch my last video, please go watch it. When it comes down to it, I was only going to drop that video, but then I seen, how many, people that I actually need to call out. I actually need to, put out and show people, just how messed up, these people are. You literally have here Gavin Newsom just 3 days ago to ICE, unmasked. What are you afraid of? And literally, you see what happened.
ICE, unmasked. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of?
The crazy thing is that what burns me up about this whole thing that I've just noticed about this whole video, and of course that you have bullet casings that says anti-ICE. You have Gavin Newsom and the people that's clapping. But what really makes me mad about this whole video is the simple fact that that panel right there that's on that podium says safe schools, safe communities. That's what makes me mad. Is the simple fact that these individuals can sit there and incite violence, get people and influence people to do so much, horrible things, and, to have them thinking horrible. And then you have something like that says safe school and safe communities. Let me tell y'all something, just like I said in the last video. You literally have, and I said, you have last year. Let's not even look at last year. Look at this year of all the things that's happened, not only in schools, but in communities as well. But then you have something right there that's showing safe schools and safe communities. I'm telling y'all, it's all this is absolutely insane to me. I'm not even gonna lie. Check out what Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has to say about Gavin Newsom.
You see Gavin Newsom on the late night talk shows doxing or trying to get ICE agents doxed, trying to get them unmasked. I mean, how reckless are we getting now?
Well, this is a governor, Jesse, who is saying that he does not want ICE agents to put masks on, and they're doing that for their safety because there's a threat to them and their family out there, as we saw with the shooting today and the threats that come in daily to them. But this is the same governor who forced 2-year-olds to wear masks during COVID, and he wielded executive power to muzzle people. And so I think he thinks that he just has ultimate power to do this. But what his rhetoric is doing, what his actions, what other supposedly mainstream politicians in the Democratic Party have done is to put a target on the back of our ICE agents because they're demonizing them. They're comparing them to things like the Gestapo. And so that ends up creating an environment where people like this are going to act. So we've set the marker down in Florida. Don't even think about it. We are going to obviously defend our state and local law enforcement, but we are there right there with our DHS partners. And if you go after and target them, we're going to bring down a ton of bricks on you, and you're not going to want to do that in the state of Florida.
I'm already knowing Florida ain't playing. One thing about it is that you literally have, and there's so many thoughts that, go through my head when it comes down to this, but you have so many people that I've seen in the comments, that I support, what Trump does, and, I do, this, that, and the other. And then, there's people that's been saying that I think it'll be, and this was before, obviously, this was about a week ago. People like, I think that, it is, something that's great that, maybe so, maybe so, they unmask. Let me tell y'all something. Me personally, I don't think so. And I'm going to tell y'all why. I don't think they should unmask because I think it's very important for their safety. I think it's very important for their safety, even police officers. I'm not even going to lie. Even police officers. And I say that because there are so many things that have been happening. You have so many people, and it's sad to say. Maybe if it wasn't this bad, but I feel like this year alone has been so bad with people targeting people. I literally just watched somebody in Chicago, a police officer, literally leaving her work, followed home, all the way home. She parks in her garage, and it was firing shots out of a car. Literally, 4 black guys. Y'all can look it up. It just happened recently. And it just goes to show you how bad things have gotten when it comes down to it. Mind you, I said Chicago. It should tell you a lot. It should tell you a lot when it comes down to it of the safety of individuals. Literally the safety of individuals. And I feel like it's definitely, I feel like, being 2025, it's definitely important for those things. It's people obviously find you on social media. I don't know if y'all know this, but you literally have, there's posts on TikToks where a person be like, y'all find this person for me, that person, and they find it like that. Find them just like that. And I know a lot of, it might not be, an ICE agent that's on social media or a police officer that's on social media, but there are many that are. There's other ways that people find these different individuals, whether it's following them, from, a police department, rather it's, them seeing them on the road. Because if y'all don't know, there's a lot of police officers that don't drive the police department vehicles. They drive regular cars and they can still be in uniform. There's a lot of ways, so I definitely, I'm full in supporting that. They need to stay masked. I'm not even gonna lie. For their safety, that I definitely do think that needs to happen. Check out Vice President J.D. Vance.
And I think that is the most disgusting thing. The very people who keep us safe ought to be honored and protected and praised by Democrats and Republicans alike. It is time to stop the rhetorical assault on law enforcement. Because here's what happens. Because here's what happens when Democrats like Gavin Newsom did say that these people are part of an authoritarian government. When the left-wing media lies about what they're doing, when they lie about who they're arresting, when they lie about the actual job of law enforcement, what they're doing is encouraging crazy people to go and commit violence. You don't have to agree with my immigration policies. You don't have to agree with Donald Trump's immigration policies. But if your political rhetoric encourages violence against our law enforcement, you can go straight to hell and you have no place in the political conversation of the United States of America.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like, and maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. But when I tell y'all, ever since seeing JD Vance for the first time, looking at videos, seeing how he speaks, I feel like JD Vance done learned so much. The way that he speaks, the way that he comes across, individual, what he says, I feel like he's definitely learned a lot. He's definitely learned a lot from Trump. I'll tell you that right now. But I feel like he's learned a lot. The people he's come across, the things that's been happening. I definitely, and I've been noticing. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But this is another post from Donald Trump. I'm gonna skim through it. I know this is a long post. Says, I've been briefed on the deadly shooting at the ICE field office in Dallas, Texas. It has been now revealed, and I apologize, y'all, if I'm sniffing. My allergies are terrible right now. Revealed the deranged shooter wrote anti-ICE on the shell casings. This is despicable. Brave men and women of ICE are just trying to do their jobs and remove the worst of the worst criminals out of our country. But they are facing unprecedented increase in threats, violence, and attacks by deranged radical leftists. This violence is the result of the radical left Democrats constantly demonizing law enforcement, calling for ICE to be demolished, and comparing ICE officers to, of course, they always say, Nazis. The continuing violence from the radical left in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination must be stopped. ICE officers and the other brave members of law enforcement are under grave threat. We have already declared Antifa, and I will be signing an executive order this week to dismantle these domestic networks. I'm calling on all Democrats, and I have to watch what I say on here, y'all. So if y'all see me skip over words, that's why. I'm calling on all Democrats to stop this rhetoric against ICE and America's law enforcement right now. Trump administration is fully committed to backing law enforcement, strong borders, securing our homeland, deporting violent illegal criminals, and fully rooting out the left-wing domestic. Y'all know what. That is literally messing up our country. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I literally have to watch what I say, y'all. I apologize. Y'all know I say it all the time. I've already been going through some different things, when it comes down to YouTube. So definitely apologize. But check it out right here. Trump.
Who do you hold responsible for the uptick in left-wing violence in the country?
Radical left rhetoric. The radical left is causing the problem. They're out of control. They're saying things, and they're really dumb people. I mean, I look at Crockett. I look at some of these people. They're very low IQ people, actually. But the radical left is causing this problem, not the right, the radical left. And it's going to get worse, and ultimately it's going to go back on them. I mean, bad things happen when they play these games. And I'll give you a little clue. The right is a lot tougher than the left. But the right's not doing this. They're not doing it, and they better not get them energized, because it won't be good for the left. And I don't want to see that happen either. I'm the president of all the people. But the radical left is causing this. Radical left Democrats are causing this problem, and it gets worse. It gets worse, and it'll be a point where other people won't take it anymore, and that will not be good for the radical left, and we don't want that. Okay, thank you.
And we don't want that. I ain't even gonna lie. He's definitely for real, and that's. I don't even look at it so much of people a threat. I don't look at it as that. It's a promise.
My name is Marcos Charles.
And I'm sorry, y'all. This is ICE official. Check it out.
The ICE Executive Associate Director for Enforcement and Removal Operations. The attack on ICE's Dallas field office yesterday was tragic. And while our hearts and prayers are with the family of the detainees who were shot, the evidence is clear that this was intended as an assault on ICE personnel who come to work every day to do their job. Violent rhetoric has led to over 1,000% increase in assaults on ICE officers, and it has to stop. In contrast to those who would demonize our men and women, yesterday our brave officers ran back into danger, along with ATF, our partners, to save the detainees while shots were still being fired. Those ICE officers just showed the world who they really are. Law enforcement officers who want the best for our country. That's ICE. Integrity, courage, excellence. They were willing to put their lives on the line to pull detainees out of the transport van to get them to safety. They are heroes, and I hope the media has the integrity to shine a light on this story. Enough is enough with the harmful lies and violent rhetoric. It has to stop. The shooter used the ICE tracking apps.
Wow.
Anyone who creates or distributes these apps that is designed to spot, track, and locate ICE officers are well aware of the dangers that they are exposing to law enforcement.
And on top of that, not even just the apps. There's social media, like I've said, is a strong thing. So I've definitely seen posts, of people literally telling of where ICE is, literally full addresses. It's definitely been getting crazy.
It's a casting call to invite bad actors to attack law enforcement officers. It's no different than giving a hitman the location of their intended target, and this is exactly what we saw happen in Dallas yesterday. The media has been amplifying these apps even as we warned them it would only lead to more attacks on law enforcement. We truly wish we didn't have to say, "I told you so," but here we are. ICE continues to prioritize the safety and security of our personnel, detained aliens, and facilities. We will do everything possible to increase security to counter the increased wave of these lethal attacks. Again, we call on those who foment violence and vilify our law enforcement officers to cease the dangerous rhetoric. We also call on law-abiding Americans everywhere to report any suspicious activity. The individual that was out there yesterday shooting at our agents and our officers was trying to take the lives of law enforcement people doing their job. Instead, he killed a detainee and shot 2 others.
Wow.
That is something that's unacceptable. The rhetoric that's out there on social media, the rhetoric that is being said by some community leaders in other states needs to stop. There's been an increase in violence against ICE agents, not only in in Texas and Dallas, but across the country in violent protests. Again, I ask everybody, just stop. Thank you.
The simple fact, and I can tell that he's very, 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 even though, he shot at, obviously his agents and, things like that, but detainees, at the end of the day, this is something that they're causing. You're literally inciting violence, want to have this protest and want to say this, want to say that, and getting everybody hyped up. And they're the reason that has happened to, these detainees. It's sad. I'm not even gonna lie. It's definitely sad. Check it out, Fox News.
I want to point out that one of these notes or papers, the sniper explicitly states, yes, it was just me. That statement appears to be correct at this point in the investigation. Notably, these loose notes included a game plan of the attack and target areas at the facility. He called the ICE employees people showing up to collect a dirty paycheck. He wrote that he intended to maximize lethality against ICE personnel and to maximize property damage at the facility. He hoped to minimize any collateral damage or injury to the detainees and any other innocent people. It seems that he did not intend to kill the detainees or harm them. It's clear from these notes that he was targeting ICE agents and ICE personnel. The tragic irony for his evil plot here is that it was a detainee who was killed and 2 other detainees that were injured when he fired into the Sally Port. He also hoped his actions would give ICE agents real terror of being gunned down, and he did this to induce constant stress in their lives. He hoped his actions would terrorize ICE employees and interfere with their work, which he called human trafficking. And this, what he did, is the very definition of terrorism.
Just like that. I'm telling y'all, people got to answer to this. Jasmine Crockett, AOC, Gavin Newsom. There's a lot of, and a lot of others. A lot of others. It's definitely sad. I'm not even gonna lie. One thing about it though, I found this video. They're gonna be doing more. This here, Kristi Noem just ordered, a surge in federal security resources to ICE facilities nationwide. So check it out.
Their language and their inflammatory jackjawing is not going to stop. So what can you do from a law enforcement perspective to protect everyone, the agents and the people who were brought into custody for deportation proceedings?
Diggin, absolutely. Secretary Noem has ordered that we have enhanced security around our detention facilities and around our field offices across the country. You're right. We're not seeing, despite President Trump, despite Secretary Noem, at DHS for months and months calling for the rhetoric to be turned down. And in light of the political violence we've seen so recently, we have to make sure our officers are extra vigilant. And that's a big part also of our workforce recruitment efforts. There's safety in numbers, and we need our law enforcement to be safe. So we've been recruiting more than 10,000 ICE enforcement officers, and we've gotten more than 151,000 applications, despite the danger, despite this dehumanizing rhetoric, this dehumanizing rhetoric. Americans are still answering the call to come and join ICE. They know what this mission is about. It's about making our homeland and our communities safer.
One thing about it, though, is that I've sat here and I've thought about this. I don't know the whole process when it comes to being an ICE agent. But I do want to say that I pray that they're very careful when it comes down to it. I don't know about y'all. I don't know how the process works, but they do have to watch out for a lot of those things because you never know, when it comes down to things of, who's on the inside, who's doing this, who's doing that, who can turn on. So those are a lot of things to take, and think about as well, when they, say those things, in the hiring, so I definitely feel that's something that is very important when it comes down to it. But one thing about it is that this goes to show y'all why so many, people in law enforcement aren't wanting to do it, not wanting, to lose their life. Although you don't want to protect Americans, want to protect their family, but there's been so many crazy things going on from what the left, is mixing up, and I'm telling y'all, it's not good. It's not good. It's sad, but one thing about it, prayers to the officers, and the people that's going out, It's definitely sad, but you already know. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Definitely appreciate y'all. Much love, everybody. Catch y'all next one.